No unhallowed hand can stop this work from progressing. But a federally protected bat might just slow down the Springfield Temple until October. It gave me the idea. I'm going to call the church office building.
What is happening?
And I'm going to ask if we can make a WardRadio bat box.
Yes!
It's like mother freaking 28 days later, but
Jeez.
Just while you're walking. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to WardRadio. I'm your host, Cardinal. Today I'm joined in the studio by my lovely wife, Brittany the Shadow, and we're reacting today to this article. Poking around. Progress on new LDS temple in SGF slowed over environmental concerns for bats. Ladies and gentlemen, bats have delayed the Springfield Temple.
I was going to say, where's SGF or what is that?
It's the Springfield Daily Citizen is the name of the newspaper here. And there's more to this story than meets the eye. Okay. We're actually going to dive in, and I have done like a deep dive into Midwestern bats and how endangered they are. And it's actually pretty crazy, the story.
Dude, I love bats. They're like one of my top favorites.
Okay.
We have have you seen all the bats that are flying around our neighborhood?
Exactly. Yeah. They're on the rise where we are due to some conservation successes, but in other places, not so much. In fact, their decline has been 99% in some of these areas. And apparently the whole Missouri area is a hotbed for a bunch of endangered bats, babe.
So what's the cause of their decline?
Okay, cool. Well, here, look, we'll just dive right in. Okay, first things first, though, is I have to just, I love like the era of classic radio, but also the era of like classic print newspaper. This article is written by this guy named Steve Pokin, right? See him right there? Steve Pokin. And so the name of his series is like Poking Around.
I enjoy a good pun. I like it.
Yeah, look at this. The name of his series is Poking Around. All right. So this dude literally just pokes around town and he like writes articles for the local newspaper called the Springfield Daily Citizen. I love it. All right.
Good on you, Steve.
Yeah. And this guy, I don't know if it was a dig or not, but he says it's hard to tell how much the construction timeline is off because the construction timeline has never been made public. Right. So anyway, here's just the raw bare bones take. All right. I'm just going to read exactly what it says on the top of this article here so everybody can see it. Basically, environmental laws protecting endangered bats have delayed construction of a new temple for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on 38 acres at the southern tip of Springfield. All right. So church spokesman Kent Teague told me, so he's writing the first person here, that it was a state law regarding the bats. It's not. So you kind of think, dun, 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 what's going on, right? Well, then he clears it up. It's not a state law. It's a federal law, says Cora Scott, spokeswoman for the city of Springfield. You can't interrupt the bat migrating season, Teague tells me. I'm not real sure what that is, but the removal of those trees had to be delayed because of the bat season. So this is actually true, babe. Because as a pest control professional, you know what's one of the oldest laws on the books that prevents just the removal of starling or pigeon, not even pigeons, but San Juan Capistrano has swallows.
Bird migrations?
Yeah. The Migratory Bird Act dates back to like 1870 or something like that. It's one of the oldest laws that we have federally on the books in the United States of America. Okay. And so some of these conservation efforts, which I think are dutiful and important for us as Christians, good stewards of the environment around us, have placed not just one, but several bats in the area on the endangered species list. So I did a whole deep dive here. Looking into like, what are all the different types of bats that are endangered in the area. And apparently Springfield, Missouri is a hotbed for bat activity. All right. So check this out. I'm just going to show the top 3 that I found that are the most endangered bats. Okay. So first is the Indiana bat, the Myotis sodalis, a medium-sized mouse-eared bat native to North America. All right. Its picture is pretty dang gnarly. I'm going to put it here on the screen so everybody can see. It's a pretty cool bat. All right. That
They're so cute.
yes, they are actually kind of an adorable species. All right. It's similar in appearance to the little brown bat, but is distinguished by its feet size, toe hair length, pink lips, and keel on the calcar. All right.
Hair length.
Yes.
Oh man.
But this is what's really interesting. If you look at the Wikipedia article, and I highlight this part, based on the 1985 census of hibernating bats, the Indiana bat population is estimated around 250,000. About 23% of these bats hibernate in caves in Indiana. All right. But Indiana bat caves are few and far between that provide conditions necessary for hibernation. They need stable low temperatures to allow them to reduce their metabolic rates and conserve fat reserves. Apparently, these bats hibernate in large, tight clusters, which contain thousands of individuals. There's their range. And let me tell you, when you see the pictures of these bats hibernating, it is terrifying. Could you imagine crawling underneath? See all those little dots? You know what all those little dots are?
I can't imagine. That would be like a dream come true.
Yeah, all of those little dots are actual individual bats.
Dang.
You know, and so apparently they waste nearly 30% of their energy and can only wake up once or twice if they're disturbed without like losing their fat reserves to metabolize and make it through the winter. All right. So these bats are totally gnarly and they're super cool and we got to take care of them. And they're infesting the trees at the site that we're supposed to build our temple. All right. But they're not alone. They're not alone. So first bat, all right, is the Indiana bat. All right. Well, the second bat, okay, is the northern long-eared bat and the gray bat. This bat's a biggie. Okay. It's a microbat endemic to North America. And once flourished in caves all over the southeastern United States. And the very first thing I want to bring up is it's actually very small area of, I don't want to say infestation. That's not the correct word, but not hibernation.
Habitat.
Yeah, it's habitat. It's really limited there and it just barely edges out on the Springfield area of southern Missouri. And so you've got this bat right here, which when you look at its distribution, it barely touches Missouri as well. And then you got this third bat. They're all in the exact same area. And this one, look at this. The northern long-eared bat is predominantly threatened by white nose syndrome, especially in the northeast portion of its range where the population has decreased by 99%.
Dang.
99%.
What's white nose syndrome?
Well, it actually gives a little bit of some of the details
So that's what's
here.
killing them?
It looks like it's come back. Basically, due to white nose syndrome, the northern long-eared bat was listed federally threatened by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service under the Endangered Species Act. All right. And the Elroy Sparta Bike Trail tunnels in west central Wisconsin are closed for the season by the beginning of November using the doors that the railroad added to prevent storm damage. The debate is on whether or not they open or keep them closed because the northern long-eared bat hibernates in tunnel number 3. Apparently there's so many of them hibernating in this tunnel that they just decided to close it all together. And the Rails to Trails Marathon, a Boston Marathon qualifier, so it's a big deal marathon, had to move their event date in early October to November in 2017 to accommodate an earlier tunnel closing than the original November 15th date right here.
You know, I love that. That's so wholesome. Like, we go out of our way to change our planned events for bats. I think that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
You know why I love bats so much?
Why?
They eat mosquitoes.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I hate mosquitoes. I get attacked every summer by hundreds of mosquitoes. They cause big welts on me. So, you know what? More bats, the better.
Yeah, and look at its range right here. Again, just barely touching Missouri. And for anybody that have been there are so many freaking bugs in the air.
Yeah.
It is absolutely gross. I think we need 50 bajillion more types of bats. So it gave me the idea. I'm going to call the church office building.
What is happening?
And I'm going to ask if we can make a WardRadio bat box.
Yes. I love this idea.
Yeah. Could you imagine just like a literal WardRadio bat box? You have to be a little bit careful though, because have you ever seen the accidents that have happened from people that get exposed to bats?
No. Is it bats or their poop?
Oh, it's their poop. Like one of the worst diseases Joe Rogan ever saw.
Yeah, it's all the bat poo.
Yeah, there was the two researchers that were going inside of the cave, and then they accidentally got exposed to all of the bat guano. Oh, we're going to have to just play this really fast. Hold on.
When bats hibernate, do they poop?
Well, I don't think they necessarily defecate unless they wake up. That's a good question.
These are the questions that keep me up at night.
The worst story that I ever heard was there's two scientists had set up cameras to make video and photographs. They were going to take shots of these bats exiting this cave. And it's a particular cave in Africa that has just millions and millions and millions of bats.
Okay.
And every evening they leave this cave. They set the cameras up and they're filming this. And as the bats leave, they and they all over these guys. Millions and millions and millions of bats on these guys, and they developed a hemorrhagic virus, and they were dead within days.
Oh, dude.
They actually died?
They actually died from a hemorrhagic virus. Now, what's a hemorrhagic virus?
Is that like where you bleed out?
Yeah, what's a hemorrhaging?
Yeah, you bleed.
Yep. So a hemorrhagic virus definition right here. We don't want this happen to the poor old people that are going to volunteer in the temple. So viral hemorrhagic fevers. Here it is. All right. According to Google AI, viral hemorrhagic fevers are a group of illnesses caused by several types of viruses that can damage blood vessels and impair the body's ability to regulate itself. These viruses can cause a range of symptoms from mild to life-threatening and may involve fever, bleeding, and other complications. It's like mother freaking 28 days later, but just while you're walking. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Maybe I'll just love bats from afar.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, good on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for making room for the bats. We wish them well. Name that tune. Dun 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 dun.
I don't know.
Oh, that's the opening of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. Good on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for making sure the bats are taken care of. I'm going to be calling the church office building and asking if WardRadio can do a service project and build a bat box.
We need to put a picture of you on the bat box, but like in a Batman suit.
No, we have to actually make it like a picture of Jesus.
Oh.
Not a picture of Jesus, but the statue of Jesus, but have the backside hollowed out because they like being in caves. So if we could make like a stone statue of Jesus that's actually filled with bats, then when people come to tour the grounds, it'll be bats that are eating the mosquitoes instead of eating the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sick. So anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. What you think that a service project for a temple involving a statue that seconds or also masquerades as a bat box should look like. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. For this and more, please check us out at wardradio.com.